Sometimes the people know what is Andorra. They confuse it with Angola. The people say, "Oh, Angola. Angola is Africa." No, Andorra is near. I have to explain what it is. Or the custom agent say, "Oh, Andorra is the first time I see Andorran citizen." Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because there are only 45 of you.
Yeah.
There was a group of Italians traveling more or less at the same time. I would follow them and see that they went to one hostel. I would go to another. But if you want better food, go with them.
Yeah.
So how do you say your name?
My name is Edward. My surname Mikas. So I'm from Andorra. I come to Miami to visit the South Island in Caribbean. And I have a lot of fun now. I stay only here I travel a lot in my life. So I finished all country in the world in this year, last year. So that's
you're the third person that I meet that has visited every country. And so of course, I tend to compare notes, I tend to compare experiences, but that is a mistake. I should actually try to understand better what it is that you did. And one thing that I noticed about you already that is very obvious is that you're very athletic. You work out a lot.
Yeah,
you practice sports a lot, and you like to travel by bicycle too.
Yeah, sure. It's all my hobby.
Yeah, so how is that? Was it always that way?
Yeah.
Were you like this when you were very young?
Yeah, I do. I started bicycle when I was very young, and I practiced during this year. And a few years ago, I decided to go by bicycle especially in Africa and some Asia country. And it's better for me because we are very close to the people, and I go very slowly. And it's another way to see the world and traveling around.
You end up talking to everybody.
Yeah.
I noticed that running, because if you drive, it can be very nice. But when you are walking or on a bicycle, you meet everyone along the way. You say hi, you wave at people, they give you stuff, and it's nicer.
Yeah. It's one of my big hobby, and it's a good way for traveling. And one is cheaper, and you don't need anything. Only you have water, and you have water before. It's okay, water and some spaghettis, some like pasta, and that's it. No, don't need anything, and it's a way to see and meet people on the way. And when you are tired, you put your tent or put your hammock everywhere. You don't need to ask permission to any people, and it's a way for be a little bit free and will.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with bicycle myself. Like I don't like to ride on the side of the road because I don't trust the drivers.
Yeah, sure.
Because in US you need to ride on the right side, so you have your back to the traffic, and that freaks me out. Maybe in other countries where it doesn't matter too much, you can be on the other side, or maybe I would do it, or in a country where where they have dedicated lanes for bikes, or on trails. But I cannot be on the edge of the road, no matter how many flags and lights I have.
I understand, I believe you, but I try to go in the secondary roads or in the gravel roads for avoid these kind of things. But I have no problem in my last countries and visiting, no problem for that. Well, you make be careful about everything, but you go slowly and take your side.
In general, in your travels in general, what concerned you the most, like in terms of safety or security? what was
most important for me?
Yeah, what bothered you the most?
Both. I think depend. If you are in security, you are in good moments, so you have to choose. But generally, I prefer security because.
Yeah. No, but I mean, in those two fields, what were your concerns? Like, were you worried about anything, or are you particularly careful about anything?
Not really. Only want to know the route. No, forget the route, and that's it. I need a lot of water and everything. And depend the country if you travel is also important. It's not the same traveling here in America or traveling around Africa or Asia. Because some area is more safe than other. But I consider for me it's best to make a safely place.
Yeah, in my trips, it has my number one concern has been traffic.
Traffic.
Yeah, distracted because I did a lot of motorcycle riding. Where traffic is a concern. You know, you can be killed by another driver easily.
Yeah, it's easy.
And when I was running, same concern, but now it was because of distracted drivers. You know, people on their cell phone, they are not looking, and they may run you over. So in fact, running across America is, I would say, is a relatively dangerous sport because several people died during the last 10 years, all hit by cars or trucks. And one of our friends, he got hit by a car in Ohio, and I think that right now he is back a few years later, right?
Wow.
He is back to continue he recovered, but it took him years and surgeries and all that, and now he wants to finish the run.
Amazing, yeah.
But yeah, I at some point I was following and making a list of everybody that died trying to do this.
Yeah, it's very common. I know. I see.
All killed by cars. And none by violence or anything else. So
only accidents.
All accidents.
No, I try in every travel. I try to take a secondary road, gravel, and no crowded road. So it's a tip if somebody want to plan this again. Take good roads, not main roads or highway. So it's forbidden to enter inside. Another thing is take good roads and no crowding, and everything would be okay. I do probably maybe a lot of miles around the secondary road. Have no accident, but we never know. And it's not easy to know how it happened. This is why I like to do.
And you're from Andorra.
Yeah.
Which is a tiny. It's basically a city.
Yeah.
It's one small city.
Well, city is
that happens to be. It's a town that happens to be a country. Right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be
between Spain and France.
Sure.
But it's right on the mountains, right?
Right.
It's so you have like skiing there. You have sports. Every sport is uphill and downhill, right? There is no flat sports.
Only a few kilometers flat. Few. You get out the street and you have a high downhill. No, it's a very quiet and fun country for if people love outdoors. So I recommend to visit this area because it's very, very quiet and safe.
Is it part of Catalonia, or is Catalonia, or is it considered Catalonia only on the Spanish side?
No, Andorra is independent. It's a free.
Yeah, but do you call yourselves Catalans as well, or you think of Catalans as separate?
It's separate.
Yeah,
not nothing to do.
All right.
Nothing. It's another. Catalonia is across. Is the next country, the next region to Andorra. Near across the border in the south. Yeah. And it's very common. People visit Andorra because it's very your neighbors. On the other side, you have another mountain, so you are in France.
Yeah.
So we are neighbors in two countries.
You are not far from El Camino de Santiago.
That's
So
right.
have you done that too?
I do it with bicycle a long time ago when I was young. Yeah, that's a good challenge, and it's very nice for for culture, history of the region and pilgrims.
Yeah, I found it interesting on the cultural side and history, and in watching the countryside of Spain in such a slow speed was very interesting.
Yeah, me too.
And going to these small restaurants and talking to the locals and being treated so well because they are used to the pilgrims and they treat the pilgrims especially nice. That was nice. I really enjoyed. I didn't do the entire thing, but I would like to go, and actually I want to do even less next time. I want to go just from San Jean, Pied-de-Port to Pamplona. I want to do just that part, but I want to go and come back.
Wow!
Because that mountain part is the most beautiful part.
Yeah.
It's the nicest,
sure.
So I want to get to one and go to the other and come back.
That's a good adventure.
Like in a month like September where it's nicer.
It's a good time for visit.
That part was so beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful. I remember. When I was. It's a good things to do. Even if you like to work like you enjoy a lot. Me too.
So you have been to every country?
Yeah, that's it. I finished.
How long it took?
It took almost 18 years.
18?
18, yeah. Okay. It was long challenge. I do step by step, not on the long time.
Yeah, one thing that I learned from others about this idea of going everywhere is that every year it gets more expensive, right? And because things get things were more primitive, let's say in the 80s, right? So you would go to a country and things were very cheap, and now you have modern services and the hotels are better, or for example, Mike was telling me about this country where the hotel used to cost like 50 cents a day, and then there was a war next to it, and then the UN came over, and because the UN has a budget of $100 a day for a hotel, all the hotels became $100 hotels, even the ones that were worth 50 cents. So then suddenly it became very expensive to travel in that country.
Yeah, true.
And that's what happens every time that is peacekeeping or some humanitarian effort done by the UN, is that it completely affects the economy of the country and things get expensive.
That's it. Yeah. But I try to, when I'm traveling, to get with the local people and speak, and I used to some hotels, but other I prefer local, stay with the locals. Even I meet in the street, I ask where I can host. Especially in Africa, you meet. It's easy to find accommodation in Asia.
Yeah. 18 years ago, so 2004. So you didn't, when you started, there were really not much in terms of websites that help you find people, and there was no social media yet.
Social was a little change. Yeah.
How did you do that?
Well, before you have to buy your ticket in the agency. I remember. And you pay in cash in agency or whatever. And step by step, when the years come back, internet and everything changed.
Yeah.
But when I start, sometimes I had a lot of problems for communication with my family, connect with friends. But it was nice because I see the revolution of the social media.
GSM is also more recent than that, right? So arriving in a country and just getting a SIM card
No, when I start, no, it's very expensive.
Did that exist already?
Yeah, no, now it's finished now with the GCM. But I remember when I started, you need to find an internet cafe or whatever, but sometimes no connection is poor and bad connection, so you have to see how you do for communication or even for fun accommodation or. But was nice. Now it's very easy to go around.
I remember going to Europe in 2011, and Google Maps wasn't
work.
Practical yet, and so I had I borrowed a TomTom from a friend. So TomTom worked, but of course the maps were incomplete. So sometimes you notice that it skipped an entire neighborhood because it didn't know the way through. So you had to like today on Google Maps you would go through and save a lot of time. But I remember being like the TomTom not working occasionally and being really lost and having to ask people for direction and in some countries
it's the best solution. It's all solution when you meet people and you ask, can you tell me what is this direction or this location? But it was a big challenge before that internet revolution and the media social. But I think a lot of memory about how to find the place, or I want to go to this area and another area, and you lose every day. You lost a lot of time traveling around. Yeah.
Now I need to ask you about Africa because I've never been there. But you have been to South America and you have been to Brazil as well.
I like it.
And if you have to compare in terms of safety in general today in recent times, if you have to compare South America and Africa, logistics and safety, how do they compare?
And for example, in Africa, for tourist logistics is zero. So you have to plan in advance what do you want to do. In the main city, only stay one day because it's dangerous and nothing special for me because I'm traveling, I'm not tourist, so it's different if you're traveling than tourist. But in South America, the logistics is good. So it's easy to take a bus from one park to another park. The roads is good, so you don't need to worry about to go there. In Africa, maybe you have in the rain season, you for the way is very complicated. The GPS not work, no maps for me. And for safety, is the same. In the big city, you have a lot of criminal problem, even if you are white in Africa, because few white people go around, and if you find you are a target. So
you're more of a target.
But almost all the time, it's easy to meet. Especially when I travel in Africa, I try to find a connection before and try to plan my accommodation and and everything. In Brazil or whatever in South America, a lot of people help you. It's not, especially with me. I speak good Spanish and Portuguese. I understand, so it's a good solution. Even in Africa, I speak a good French because we live in my country, Andorra.
Yeah, a lot of countries there speak either Portuguese or French.
Yeah, Portuguese and French and Catalan and little bit in English also. And the people are very friendly when you speak your his language. Yeah. So you are very comfortable for me for if I traveling, because if you travel to South America, if you speak French, Spanish or some English and Portuguese, you are very easy to traveling around.
Yeah, I got the impression during my trips that the most people are most friendly when you don't speak their language at all, or when you speak their language a little and they see that you're trying. They like it.
Or
if you don't speak it at all, then they try to help you. but when you are fluent in their language, it doesn't help.
It's funny.
If you speak it too well, then it's not. Then you are a local. Then you don't get anything.
I have the same. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. Sometimes in Asia, you will go to another parts and you will never speak English, only local language. In Africa also the same. You see, wow, you are very, very difficult to communicate. So you have to communicate with sign, food, water, zip.
The first time I went around, I had a T-shirt made with icons for the things that I want. So I had an icon for beer, burger, bicycle, hotel, hospital, phone. So if last case scenario, I could point at an icon, and people would.
I do the same with the photo. I make a photo, I show with my phone.
Know where I use photos? I started doing that in Germany because I wanted to go to the supermarket, and I knew the supermarket would have everything, but sometimes the supermarket is organized in a different way that I'm not familiar, and I couldn't find a product. So I would, before going to the market, I went online and I download the photos of everything that I wanted. And then I would show it to anybody, and they would take me to the right section.
It's funny. I do the same, especially when I know people speak in the remote area. You don't have photo, you don't have the word, and you keep in your phone. And you show to the people, and the people, okay. Well, I was surprised because no people communicate in these things. But it's a really, really nice experience when you're on this area. Yes, always happy to people help to you when they say, well, you are tourist or you are traveling. And people, especially when I travel with my bicycle, the people are very curious, touch everything, because a lot of people are surprised. I remember when I stay in Africa, in Central Africa or wherever, in Togo or Guinea, the first time chills see white people. So, wow, you are not from this world. Who are you?
I know. Well, most of my travels were by motorcycle, and I had a little bit of a difficulty because when I stopped the bike, sometimes I would stop, let's say, in front of a restaurant, and people would come over and they say hi, and they are trying to to communicate a little bit, and that's very nice. But then they would ask, "Can I take a photo with your bike?" And you don't want to say no, right? Because I think it's a little bit of a dick move to say no. But the problem is that when you say yes, they understand that you're saying yes, you can sit on my bike. But I don't like that because it's pretty dangerous. It's 800 pounds, and sometimes they try to, on getting in and out, they end up kicking the bike. They put their. One day, one guy, he dragged his dirty boot all over the seat of the bike trying to get out. They make a mess sometimes. And they don't know how to do it. They are not used to a big bike. So, and I had to learn a phrase. I asked a friend to teach me. I had to learn to say in Russian, because this happened a lot in Ukraine. And I had to learn to say in Russian, you can take a photo, but don't sit on the bike. I had to learn to say it in their language, because otherwise it was always the same. I would say yes, you can take a photo, but then they would want to mount the bike, and it never ends up all right. And sometimes the bike is hot, because sometimes I just arrived, right? The bike is super hot. Oh yeah, I had people burn themselves on the, touching the exhaust. And then our kids touch it. Oh shit! One day there was this couple with a kid, and they were around the bike and all that. And I said, the kid, stay. I tried to gesture, keep the kid away from the bike. And they say, hi.
Okay.
And then the kid went and put both hands on the engine. And that from there to the hospital, because that is a big serious burn.
Yeah. Well, the bike also, they touch everything, especially in a lot of country. There are no biking and touch, and they want to enter in your tent with you or wherever.
Yeah.
But especially with it's with the kids and the adult people is know about.
The adults keep a distance. The problem is the children. The children want to. They say, they tend to touch things. And
especially in the bicycle.
And I don't mind people taking photos, but I don't want them trying to get on top of the bike without knowing how to do it. Because it is all kinds of things happen.
You never know what happened.
Yeah.
Me too. I like also make a photo because I have souvenir for the people. And now with the smartphone, it's everywhere. When I go, take photos to the new tourists or
everybody
new
has
traveler.
a phone now. Yeah.
So phone or video and send to his family or to his friend, and they might invite me to his house or whatever to take a tea or come all the time come. Yeah. Okay, you are welcome. If you need anything, you can come with me.
Yeah.
So you have a good memory about hospitality in the country. A lot of countries, not especially in one.
Yeah.
But I think in the whole country, people are very friendly and very, very, very nice.
Yeah, I didn't see any exception to that yet. People are friendly everywhere.
Sure.
But in some countries, people are more busy.
Yeah,
so they don't notice you. They are friendly once they notice you. But because they are busy and they are going to work and like in the US,
busy country.
People here are tremendously friendly. They are really cool. Especially outside of the big cities, they are really nice.
That's definitely.
But sometimes they don't notice you because it's work, home.
Yeah, a lot of stress in the city, and the way of life is very move and no stop. That's why I prefer the small town.
The one thing that I do is when I'm riding and I see a restaurant that I want to stop, especially a restaurant that has motorcycles in front of it, then I really want to meet them because more likely to become friends. But I never stop right away. I go past it because then usually they see me passing, right?
Okay.
And so I go past and then I come back, and then I get in, right? So they see me twice and they see me coming back. And then I park with the back of the bike towards the restaurant, so they see the license plate. So now they see the USA behind the bike, and they see the license plate from America.
Nice.
So by the time that I get out of the bike, they are already there inviting me to have lunch with them.
That's a good tip. I know.
I make friends right away. Bike. Yeah. So even I tell people that are riding bicycles, I said, put a big sticker behind the bike that says where you're from. When and put stickers, put information about you on the bike, because they are going to see that, and that will make them come and talk to you. Cool. But if your bike is kind of standard and it doesn't, if it's not evident that you are from far away, then they may just not do anything.
I sometimes I have a T-shirt with my team or whatever I do. Sometimes I put a T-shirt.
That is important.
People know. What is? You come from Andorra, or maybe some flag or some things in my bag.
Or sometimes you are on the line to buy something in the gas station, for instance. And someone behind you is reading your shirt.
That's it. It's a good.
The person behind you, and then they go like, "Hey," they start talking to you.
I do, especially in the big trips. I do a T-shirt with a name or mission or whatever you do. And the people, when you read your T-shirt or whatever you have, and they say, "Oh, why? Nice to meet you. How is your trip? You're from?" And they know you start a conversation and connections.
It happened. I had people even I would say the most extreme case was in Montpellier,
in France.
France.
So, yeah.
A guy driving, he lined up with me and he started yelling at me. But it was not like angry yelling. It was like friendly yelling. Yelling.
Surprised.
You know, so I could notice right away that it was like a friendly yell. You know, say, hey, you know, like, hey, you know. Yeah. So I look and I wave at him, and he said, stop. So I thought, oh, maybe something fell off, right, of the bike and all that. And so I stopped at the gas station, and he parked behind me. He said, hey, I saw the license plate from America.
Wow.
I said, yeah. And then he explained to me he was from Croatia, I believe.
Yeah.
From Croatia, but living in France for 30 years, you know, so as French as one can get. And he said, hey, you know, I see you're traveling around. And then I explained, yeah, I'm traveling across Europe and all that. He said, I would love to hear your story. Why? Wow. And he had his wife and his daughter in the car. He said, I would like to invite you to have dinner. With my family,
this is the same,
you know. And then he had an apartment that was he rents apartments in the city. So he said, "Hey, I have an apartment that you can use. You know, don't go to a hotel. Use my place." And I end up staying with them a couple of days. But just like that, someone that saw just by seeing the license plate.
I have a lot of history like this in the train, in Asia or wherever, in Africa, only because the people are very curious and want to know about your place, because sometimes they see a movie or dream to go there and ask, oh, maybe it's a possibility to connect, to have a good connection and keep in touch and when I can, even I make some friends I meet several times. Here in Africa, I meet also in Asia, in Australia, I meet and I have a good friends and we keep in touch by social media or whatever you have. And it's the situation I found a lot of time, even with the backpack or bicycle or like tourist. It's funny because it's a good connection and only for we see a sticker or whatever you have a possibility to meet to pass a good time with the family or.
How was it for you with food? Did you have troubles with the food anywhere?
Yeah, sometimes I have a little bit heel stomach or but it's common in.
But is there any cuisine that you really don't like?
No, I need to adapt because otherwise you do not survive. You do not need to adapt. But in some time, when you know the food, the first day I want to be careful, not eat a lot, and especially because in a lot of countries people invite to his house. And they say, oh, you can try everything. They put a lot of food.
Then they cook a lot.
Lot because for us it's a present. It's important things to meet a foreigner. They cook a lot of specialties, main courses. Wow, what happened with that? And if you not taste it, it's a offense for us. So
it's a cultural thing that they like to show abundance, right? So they will cook. Sometimes they'll cook everything they have.
I remember a story when I have in Muslim country. They stay with the Ramadan, so the people not eating during the day. And when I finish the day and can food, they invite me with his family. I take a big party. Oh, come on with me. And the last day was very hot stomach. I have 2 days. I can't stay in the. Have to stay in the zip. In the bed. That's why now with this situation I know how we do these things.
I travel with other people a lot, especially when on motorcycle. Very often I bring a girl with me, and once I travel with a girl that she is vegetarian or vegan, I don't remember now. But we were going through Eastern Europe, and in Eastern Europe, it's not that common. In big cities, yes, you go to, you go to Kiev or Bucharest, it's going to be easy to find a vegetarian menu. But when you are along the road in small towns, they don't even know the word, right?
Only maybe pizza or something like this.
And if you go to Latin America, if you ask for something and you say no meat, then they put chicken. Because in their mind, no meat means no beef.
No beef.
And then they put chicken on your food and serve it. So that was a surprise when I was going through Brazil with a girl too, and she would say, she learned to say no meat, and then there is chicken in this burrito.
So I have a lot of friends who was vegetarian, so I meet on the way or whatever, and they say the same problem. They no chicken, only chicken or beef or but. Yeah. But in the other time, if you are vegetarian, it's very difficult to survive.
It's difficult to travel that way.
Because especially in Africa, meat is not common sometimes. Only for eat only from the field and farms. Sometimes it's okay, but otherwise, if you don't like meat, only you can eat.
You have to be omnivore. You have for travel. You need to be able to eat everything, or know that it will be difficult.
Especially with me, because I need a lot of calories because
of bicycle
or running or whatever. Sometimes also I work a lot.
Yeah.
So if you not take a calorie meal, you have me problems.
Yeah.
I remember when I stay in the warm place and I stay very hot, and you need a lot of water, 2, 3, or 4 liters per days because you are active. So maybe I ride during 8 hours.
Was water difficult anywhere?
Yeah, I don't have a big problem. Like in the deserts or some area without ice, so you need to filter the water in the rivers or maybe in the street. You need to take water in everything, and you need to make reserve when you travel in your
I have been through US running, and water was not a problem, but that's in the US. Because in the US there is always trucks. Contractor trucks along the way. So every few miles you meet someone, they give you water. Police stop and ask if you need water. Cars, just drivers, they see you on the road in the desert, they stop and ask. So water is very easy to get. But I would presume in some countries it may be difficult.
Yeah, difficult. Even in desert or wherever, in Africa, in some areas. I remember I stay in Djibouti without water and I have a sunburn. I have a big trouble there. But finally we found like you say, a police, and they take together and give me water. But otherwise you need to plan in advance. If you one day you make me 5 or 6 hours during bicycle or walking, you need to put in your camelback or whatever you have, bottle or. So it's not easy, but always with the experience every day you improve. Because I remember the first trip I do, I have a lot of problems. What we can do now? You need to stop, and you need to find a place or stop before the arrival place.
What about the visas? Was there? I bet there were places where getting the visas was particularly difficult.
In a lot of countries, because there are a lot of countries that are not tourists at all. So they ask for why you want to go there, and you need to prove that you are a tourist and you do not work. I'm not a spy. I don't know special things to do here. Only.
What was the most annoying?
Annoying for the visa.
Yeah.
I think in the people of Warzone, they ask why you want to go there. It's nothing to do for you. They ask your permission of your state, your government. They want to arrange. I have a lot of problems for they denied the visa two, 3 times sometimes, especially Turkmenistan and Libya and another place. But step by step, you okay. This time you denied, but I tried next year, and that's why. But they ask a lot of invitation letter from your friends or from your local people or company for work, because there are a lot of countries they don't accept tourists. They're only business people. So you need to go to the agency to ask to you are the business. It's
you are in the business of riding a bicycle.
This is funny. You go and you have to go dress good in the airport, and after you go to the airport, like take the t-shirt and short pants and take rent a bicycle or something special. But it's special sometimes for the visa. Sometimes a hit cake because you ask a lot of papers. Why you want a lot of papers? Only stay maybe one month or 2 weeks, depend the country, what do you want to do. But generally, depend your passport also. But normally with my passport is no problem. I have a strong passport, so it's easy to move around. They are not too be difficult to arrange a visa.
Yeah, I would imagine with some passports must be a pain in the ass, because so let's just say some passports are stronger than others.
Stronger, and this is okay. This is a good passport. This is not a risky guy. Does not work in the. The big problem for the government, I think, is because if you are some troubles, what we can do with you when you have.
I have a friend that she is from Haiti, and her husband is Canadian.
Oh, okay.
And they travel together. They're traveling the world together. And she has to go through so much more bureaucracy than he does, even though they are married and they are traveling together. But the visas, there are many countries that she needs visas and
bureaucracy, and
they need to prove that they have money and stuff like that. Otherwise, she cannot go. So much more difficult for her.
I have the same problem because I have Andorran passport and one of my friends have Spanish, so European. It's similar passport, but sometimes the people know what is Andorra. They confuse it with Angola. So people say, Angola. Angola is Africa. No, Andorra is near. I have to explain what it is, or sometimes I have to show in Google Maps. Now time, Google Maps here, Andorra. The people know. Even now, my last trip here in Aruba, the custom agent say, Andorra is the first time I see Andorran citizen. Okay.
Yeah, because there are only 45 of you.
Only for the very small, and few people now there. And a lot of story because they think, Africa country. No. The people, especially
and the name sounds a little like Andorra. And it has 2 R's in it, so it sounds like exotic. Andorra must be in Africa.
I saw a lot of story about that. Every time when I go far away, people say, And when you explain we are Andorra, they are very curious. They ask about you a lot of questions. What is Andorra? How it's not common to see.
I think I didn't know where Andorra was until maybe 2010.
That's it.
And then
you are not good
because I was then really looking at the map, to plan my trips. Then I saw, that is that. But I remember, like last year, I asked someone. I was looking at a list of countries, and for some reason, and I saw something like San Marino or something like that, and I asked my friend, "Where the fuck is that?" I said, "Well, it's in Italy. It's actually a city in Italy, but it is a separate. Like Monaco is a
microstate.
Microstate, exactly.
That's it.
I wonder. I'm really curious to see the history of those places, of how they came to be, because they were little kingdoms inside kingdoms. How did they get protected to keep existing? Because kingdoms had a tendency to just swallow everything around them. Like if you are not able to protect your little territory, they would just take it. Right? They'll take it, okay, put our stamp there and put our flag.
Yeah, because it's a long story about agreement with neighbors to protect the territory.
Yeah.
But it's little funny to know this country.
Yeah, I think that now every time I visit one, I want to study their because I find that fascinating.
Yes, for me also.
The thuggery and the deals, and sometimes they had special deals with the church, or they had the special protection from another kingdom, and
as it's the same in Andorra, it's protected with the church side, and the other is protected with the French government. So we have two agreements in the story with these two sides, and when you sign the agreement and sign a constitution. In the past, now we are separate and independent about have own rules, everything different of
Luxembourg, Liechtenstein. How these tiny places?
Malta is a small city, a duty-free city. They want to.
Don't they joke there that if the one business is going to put free Wi-Fi for the entire country. Like they say that in Liechtenstein, that one farmer is going to put free Wi-Fi and he took over the entire country.
This is it. It's a great things to do.
Funny places. What else was interesting? What else was surprising? For you?
For me, around
anywhere. What was surprising or what people should know?
No, for me, I enjoy a lot and surprise every day when you're traveling. You learn about things. You learn about a lot of things, and I am very open to know and very curious about the cultures. And when I cross the airport, for me, it's a surprise, because now it's okay because I know a lot of things, but I like to travel and understand the country and meet locals. For me, a surprise is that. I like too much to do.
Yeah, I have the impression that every airport gives you a sample of the worst of that country, because that's where. But once you leave the airport, then it gets better.
Yeah.
Because in the airport is a tourist trap, right?
Yes.
You have the people offering taxis that actually cost you twice as much to get to the city. There is all kind of thievery and pickpockets and bureaucracy. And that's where you have to deal with customs and with the bureaucratic idiocy of that country. But then once you go past the airport and you go into the city, it starts to get better. Because now you're meeting the people. It's not the government, right? And it's the people in general. And then when you go past the city and you get into the countryside, that's the best. Because that's where people are relaxed, crime is low. The food is better usually. The further away you are from the airport, the better it is, right?
That's it.
So I got that and I say that to people. Every country you go, the airport is the worst part.
The worst. I totally. Yeah, when I cross the airport, you don't know. Maybe the custom want to more to this to take your money or take everything, because even now I remember in my last trip in Sudan, my last country that I missed is South Sudan. When I stayed in the airport, the agent want money because you need to have to go to the permit for authorization, and they're like, well, but this permit is not valid. It's okay. It's the past. They only want to your dollars to
they want
get
more, they want
pay
more
because.
money.
But when I cross these things, okay, now we need to enjoy. The
I went through Transnistria two times, and Transnistria. For those people that are wondering where this is, it's a little Russian territory inside Moldova, on the border on the border with Ukraine. It's a shitty place, okay? It's
nothing. I remember.
There's nothing there. It's Russia, right? It's Russia. It's shitty.
So strategic things.
It's just Moldova is too weak to take it back, and it stays that way. So I went through, and Transnistria is just the road that goes through it is just 30 miles long.
I know.
So you go through in half an hour. But going through customs in Transnistria, the first time I was determined that I was not going to pay any bribes for anything. I want to see if it's possible to go through Transnistria without paying anything.
No, I need to pay Instagrams. I remember I have the same.
But I managed to go through, but it took 2 hours at customs, and the guy kept saying stuff that was like innuendos and suggesting that if I pay extra, then it's going to be faster, and I kept pretending that I was not understanding. So because I wanted to see, it was an experience. And then, it took 2 hours to make all the papers and all that, and I had to pay like a €5 fee. That is the official fee, so they give me a receipt and everything, right? That was the official one. And then I went through, and I thought, this place is a piece of shit. And then I got through into Ukraine, and when you reach Ukraine on that border, they are very suspicious of you because you're coming from Transnistria, right? But then they look and they say, okay, American passport, American motorcycle. Now they all wanted to take photos, right? They want to take photos with me, and they did an interview, but it was quite friendly, and I went through, fine, no problem. Then the next time, 2 years later, I decided to go through again right? It was the same officer, because it's the customs office is the size of a bathroom, okay? It's little, and it's the same guy and his boss on the other room, right?
Wow.
So the same guy again, and I say, hey, do you remember me? Like I said, the motorcycle, I pointed the motorcycle. He looked through the little window. Oh yeah, I remember you. And then I said, I said, I'm in a hurry. I want to go, and I want to go quick. And how much it is, and you fill up the forms for me. And then he said like €5 or something like that. Or he made me understand that €5 was enough. So I gave him €5. In 30 minutes, I was out of there.
It was out of there.
Yeah. So
the same,
it was exactly the same border, same process. Once not paying, and then the second time paying the bribe. So it was like €5 for the official fee, and another €5 for him.
For him, for
and I was feeling so sorry for him, because I felt like felt pity for the guy, because I was thinking, I am traveling. I am very mobile, and my life keeps going on, and every year is different. There are a lot of things that I like about my life. He was there 2 years later, still in the same post, still with the same rank, same situation, in a country that doesn't grow, that nothing gets better. And it's a country that is not a real country. It's a joke, right?
It's a joke.
And he knows it, right? In reality, he knows. When he's alone in the dark, nobody's looking. I have no idea if he is crying or if he's using his gun as lollipop. I have no idea what's going on. But it's probably very, very sad. And I felt very sorry for him.
Yeah, I understand.
So I don't hate the guy. I don't hate the guy asking for the bribes and all that. I really feel sorry. I used to hate it when I was in Brazil. Because in Brazil, I traveled a lot. I did a lot of business, a lot of stuff there that involved going, through borders and going, traveling and dealing with government and taxes and shit. And I was enraged there. And it took me quite a while to understand that rage against that bureaucrat it's not placed correctly. I shouldn't hate him because it's not really his fault, right?
Not the fault.
There is a system behind him. Yeah, he's just the soldier, right? He's just the pawn.
Yeah, it's a pawn guy doing that paper.
So the poor thing. I hate that system though, of course. But now I don't have that rage anymore. And I think that if I went through South America now, it would be a lot easier for me.
Yeah, because you know the system.
Because now I don't feel I don't feel that hatred. I just prepare for it with a lot of patience because I know it will take a lot of patience.
Yeah, it's mandatory to have patience.
And I know that there is a certain amount of bribe that makes your life a little easier. So, for instance, those borders, to go by car or motorcycle, those borders between Central American countries, usually $20 will get you easier through it, $20 or so.
Yeah, you have to pay some time extra, but you win a lot of time.
Yeah. Or you pay an agent. They call it conseguidor, right? You pay an agent. He takes your papers and takes you through, and that is an extra 20 for the agent. All right, that's the bribe.
It's not cheap to travel like this, but it depends. You are very common in the situation, so you know, because I remember when I stayed a lot of time. I stayed 8 hours in the airport. In the borders. Waiting a lot of time. Sometimes border close at night, so you have to zip in the customs and have a lot of time in a situation like this. And so I talking with the customs and why can you provide me a place to stay? Okay, you can zip inside in the sofa or in the whatever. People friendly. I zip a lot of time in the police station and in the fireplace also places. People are friendly. Even you are very polite and you speak with them. Okay, you can zip because now it's too late for go there, and I have a lot of history about that from Spain. And even in Papua also I zip 2 days in the office.
2 days in their office.
In their office, and I meet a lot of people, and the guy followed me and introduced to his friends. In Pakistan also stay 2 days sleeping in the same place of the officer. It's funny, very funny. And they give it everything because the mind of Pakistani people is the foreigner is very important for us. One is for security and safety reason. So we have a problem with tourists. Every people know, newspapers speaking about, and very bad for the country. So they protect everything for you. I remember when I climbing
a lot of places understand that. There is even a recent story about Miami. Well, recent. It's in the 90s. People were renting cars out of Miami airport, and they would get robbed. Trying to go to the beach, they would get lost and end up, in these neighborhoods, and they would get robbed.
Wow!
And the news started to go around. and the police clamped down it, found everybody that was doing it, arrested everyone. They didn't fuck around because they said, oh, the city loses millions of dollars in tourism if that's not fixed. Then later, during around 2010 or so, there were a lot of clubs in South Beach. They were doing a classic Eastern European trick, which is you would be walking around in South Beach, a guy, and some girls would appear, and some very very attractive girls, usually Russian, and they would talk to you as if they matched the day before.
Wow.
But they were too drunk and they didn't realize that they lost you at the party and all that. And a lot of guys, because they are horny and they don't think very straight in that moment, they would go along with the story to see, oh, maybe they met someone else, but I can get into this situation now. And they would invite them for a drink, and they would go to a bar nearby.
Okay.
And the guy didn't notice that his tab was being run at 10 times the normal prices.
Wow,
so at the end, he would get a bill for hundreds of dollars. And the bill would be brought not just by the waiter, but if you protest, then security would show up, and they would
big problem.
They would bully you into paying that. And they were doing that. It's very common in Prague, very common in Budapest. It happens a little bit. It was happening a little bit in Ukraine. Here, the Miami police closed all those places, arrested everybody, because you cannot have that. You can't be treating the tourists like just a target. Like that.
That's why when I travel, I avoid to go out during the night, because the night atmosphere is all time problems.
Yeah.
So I stay. If I go out, I go with local, so they know where we go.
Yeah, they know where to go.
I know the people I ask about, but if you go like a tourist, you will look like loose or whatever you say. You have 90% possibility of bad experience.
Yeah.
Especially in a country that no speak your language, or with few language, or few tourists.
Yeah.
I have the situation. I have sometimes maybe problem in a lot of country, in poor country. You go during the dark. Even if you walk around the street, be careful, because if you are alone, 90% you have worse situation like this.
Yeah.
That's why I avoid to meet some people like this.
Sometimes I remember doing this in Ukraine on my first visit. I saw people eating these very nice shawarmas. And I started observing where they were coming from. And there was this place where they were selling the shawarmas, but I didn't know how to order them.
Okay.
So I went there and I looked at the menu. I can read Cyrillic more or less well. Okay now. But at that time I could barely read any Cyrillic. Sure. So I couldn't tell which one was the shawarma. But then I pretended to be on the phone.
Okay.
I just stayed there and I was looking around, pretending to be on the phone.
Wow.
And then I waited until I was paying attention what people order and then what they got.
Okay.
And then I figured out, this is shawarma standard. You know. So then it came my turn to say, I said, shawarma standard, пожалуйста. And the guy said, all right. And then he asked a question. Then he asked another question. Later, I learned that he was asking if I wanted beef or chicken in it, but I just pretend I'm on the phone again. Yeah. So he chose. He put something. But then later I learned to say, I want chicken.
It's a joke.
Yeah, but I just pretend to be on the phone, because the less I talk, the more I look like a local, right?
Okay.
And then I blend in, and I'm good at imitating the way people talk, So if they say the way they order, I end up ordering the same way.
Right.
That solve the problem a lot of times. Which is difficult in Germany because I cannot pronounce anything.
I understand that.
German
in Germany, I have, even for me, it's because few people speak foreign language, so
yeah, I have a lot of trouble trying to pronounce it.
With pronunciation. Even with the Google Translate, you solve a lot of problems like this. But before, I remember for arrange some things, you need a lot of time, patience. But it's funny, This is nice when I travel. You found this trouble. You know how you solve.
Yeah,
it's nice.
So let me see if you agree with me. Over the years, traveling is getting more expensive if you use hotels. If you use hotels.
Hotels, yeah, sure.
But if you can travel without using hotels, traveling is actually getting cheaper.
Yeah, sure.
Because the airline tickets got a lot cheaper during the last 20 years. Now, now you go to Europe for $300, one way. 20 years ago it was 1,000. So yeah, it's a lot cheaper.
I can confirm that.
Food, is a little more expensive.
You
but
can adapt the food. Depending one day.
Food you can adapt, but the hotels are the big expense. You could go to Central America and stay in a hotel for $5. Now it will be 50, right? So that's every day.
Inflation everywhere,
Yeah. So if you can visit people, so if you learn how to use the networks and how to connect, and
this is good,
and stay in people's homes and camp sometimes, then it's cheap.
I agree to you.
And I would say, if you are from an expensive country like US or Western Europe, Scandinavia, and a few other countries, then traveling costs less than staying home.
Sure.
Right?
I agree.
If you live in Miami, for instance, and you are paying $1,500 a month for rent, plus the food and everything, so just the cost of living in Miami is around $2,000 a month for like low middle class, right?
I know.
For a simple life, and paying a simple car and having a nice clean apartment in a neighborhood that doesn't suck too much, $2,000 a month. You don't spend that much traveling.
No, traveling.
It's less than cheap.
It depends what you want, because I have a experience traveling. Maybe if you go in the accommodation is very expensive but if you know how you manage. You can spend a lot of money with nothing special. In my opinion, if you have a simple life at home, you can travel less than you expect.
You can travel for less money than it costs to just stay home.
I totally, because even with the tax, and you have car. In my situation, I don't have car. I only have bicycle and working. So I don't need a lot of
money. And when you were back home, how big is Andorra?
Only from north to the south is 20 miles.
20 miles.
20 miles from north to the south.
And yesterday, you told me that yesterday you went all the way to the end of Key Biscayne. So that's a marathon distance, going and coming back.
I know.
So you did that in the morning just for fun?
For meet, and I go around and make photos, take my time. Okay, come back and go with the car. I think the life pass very, very, very quick. You have a lot of things. your life is more raw and you enjoy a lot. So if somebody want to travel and they're not afraid because the people say, you travel a lot and you are very rich. You know, I'm not rich. I am a normal person. I have my incomes. I have my cost of life and I have everything. So you need to prioritize what you want to do. But if you compare, if you want to travel during 1 year or you want to stay only at home, you have to pay food, everything. But I know people who travel during 2 years and have income and the life is very cheap.
I had a big cultural shock in 2009. That's when I discovered couchsurfing.
Sure.
And so I went to the meetings, right? So I had I would travel before that, of course, but I would travel like a tourist. I would fly to some place, go to a hotel, rent a car. And that was my normal travel, and I had my experiences traveling, but always that way. But then in 2009, when I went to the meetings, I was meeting a lot of European kids, like 21, 22-year-olds, that they were traveling the world, and I would ask, but how are you paying for this? No, I save money for 1 year or I sold my car.
I do the same. My first trip,
I got like a few thousand euros when I sold my car, and I'm traveling for a couple years. Wow! And then I saw that they are backpacking. They are now using hotels. They are couchsurfing, and of course it's not super comfortable sometimes.
Yeah, but it's not for long.
But they are actually doing. They are adding the miles, right? And I thought it was a shock for me, and then it was a shock so big that I thought, okay, I want to try that, but by motorcycle. So I had a Kawasaki at that time.
Okay.
I thought I'm going from here to California, and I'll try to couchsurf the entire way. And I kept booking and scheduling with people and stopping without using a hotel. So I went from here to Los Angeles without using any hotel. And I thought, this works. This is totally possible. And then I kept traveling. I bought another motorcycle there in California. I sold that one, bought another one, kept traveling, and then I was hooked. I thought, okay, now I want to go to Europe now. Because imagine going to Europe is expensive.
Sure.
But if you don't pay for hotels,
it's
going
totally
to Europe
different.
is very, very accessible.
Totally different. You have another choice. You want depend on comfort that you want. You want to meet people and locals is better than stay in the hotel, because in the hotel is boring. You have nothing to do.
Yeah.
I prefer hostel also.
And then I discovered the hostels too. When I was staying in Los Angeles, I stayed in a hostel.
Yeah, you can
for the first time, and then
I very good.
I found that really fun. But of course, there are hostels that I like, and there are some hostels that I don't like. I don't like it. Not all hostels are nice. But if it is just for one night, I can tolerate a bad hostel. But I learned to read the reviews and discover if the hostel is actually good and book the good ones. I don't like party hostels because I don't like to be trying to sleep and there are drunks trying to walk in and out, and making noise, and they don't give a shit.
In this case,
and also another thing is, if your hostel, I'm sorry, my Italian friends, if your hostel is full of Italians, you will not sleep. They don't understand the concept of silence. They don't understand that. It's like trying to tell them that you cook pasta better than they do. They will just not take it, right?
I understand,
And when I was at El Camino, every hostel, I was paying attention. There was a group of Italians traveling more or less at the same time. I would follow them and see that they went to one hostel, I would go to another. And I would try to observe, there are a lot of Italians here. I'll go there because it's noisy. They are noisy. And it's a cultural thing.
It's like it's not very high.
So But if you want better food, go with them.
This
If you want to eat better, go with the Italians.
Go with the Italians, yeah. This is nice to see, yeah.
I remember one day I was in a hostel, and I told everybody, hey, I'm going to get the ingredients. They have a good kitchen here. I'm going to make a big pasta. And
cool.
And I was asking everybody, oh, give me €2 each. And that's enough to buy the ingredients, right? And then I told that to the Italians. Nice. They said, what do you want to do? I said, I'm collecting a little bit. I'm going to make a big pasta. They said, you are American. as if saying, you cannot cook pasta, you are American. We'll cook the pasta. So I told them, okay, I'll give you the money, you buy the ingredients, you do it. It was like an insult to suggest that I was going to cook pasta for them. They said, no, we cook. All right then. But it was really good. It was worth it.
It's amazing,
Funny people, but they are noisy. and the other and another bad experience I had was here in Miami, because in Miami there are some hostels that are a little more quiet, that are more strict regarding that, but most hostels in South Beach are party hostels.
Young people.
So it's young people getting drunk. They go out to the bars and the clubs and all that, and they come back pissed drunk, and you don't sleep.
No, you don't know when you
and that fucks you up. Yeah. And also, the place is never clean.
No, this is another.
That's another problem. The place is never clean.
Yeah.
Because people don't care. Here at home, I run a free hostel. That's what it actually is, right? But I had to create a few rules to make sure that the place is always nice and presentable. Otherwise
also you have to need a reference, or need some people to feed. But so normal. And when I travel, I use a lot of things, accommodation. Maybe depending on bicycle, I'm not worried about accommodation, because when I was tired, I stopped. That's it. I only need water and some food. That's it. My trouble is that.
Yeah.
Even when you go to the wheel, today I want to do 5-6 hours, and I don't know the time. So you need to find a good spot. If it's near the river, better. And after you can enjoy and fish or whatever. But even when I have in Alaska or Greenland, also the same. You need to take your time for fishing and everything. That's why. But all the people want to travel, and they're not worried now for the money, because you can travel and a lot of solution.
Yeah, I like to tell that in every podcast. I like to tell people it's cheap, and it's probably cheaper than staying home.
Sure.
So that is because that's the main objection. People say, "Oh, yeah, I love to travel, but I can't afford it." I said, "No, you can. You can definitely afford it." So what happens is there are other issues. There is decision, there is schedule, there is experience. Maybe it's first time you want to go along with someone that is more experienced than you, because it is something that you learn by observing others. You need reading the travel guide doesn't help. The travel guide is designed for the tourist, right? What I think helps is reading books that were written by people that travel the world. No, like you did. Did you write any book, by the way?
Not yet, but maybe in the future when I just finished a few months ago.
Maybe
I plan to make a write.
But I have, for example, Mike Baum wrote a book that I think is very good, where he tells about the reality of traveling for real, of not being a tourist, of being actually a traveler.
Not the same, very different.
Those books are good. Yeah, those kinds of books are good. And sometimes sometimes you find books like that, but not the travel guide, not things for tourists, not like how to visit one country per day, bullshit like that, there are always people that write books with titles like how to travel for $10 a day. Those books usually are full of bullshit, sure. Usually. If the title is like that, I'm already suspicious,
No, not really. Fake.
I like the books that focus on the experience, the culture, and and the technique.
That's it. I think so. The best for me also.
Exactly. And there are networks today. The Couchsurfing website went to shit, but there are other networks that are very good. Be Welcome is being fine. That is Warm Showers for people riding bicycles. Exactly.
That's it.
There is another network called Banca Biker for motorcycles.
Yeah, no.
There are several networks for sailors. There is a network for pilots. That people that like to do like general aviation, small airplanes, and they like to travel. I am on a group where there are pilots that the other day someone was bringing an helicopter back from Bahamas,
really?
And was asking to deliver. He was like bringing back to the owner. So he had to fly here and then fly to like South Carolina, something like that.
Okay.
And then he was asking, hey, I would prefer to instead of flying to an airport, renting a car, going to a hotel, I would prefer to land on someone's farm. Do you know any farmer that would host me? And someone offered. So there is a flat area behind. He gave the coordinates, put a marker so he could find it. And he landed on the farm, stayed there for the night, gave them a little ride in the morning to, as a thank you.
Nice.
That was a nice idea.
Really nice idea, this group.
That was fun. And then he continued and he stopped then the next stop was going to be in an airport because he would have to refuel. But he was trying to do like 2 stops in farms along the way.
It was nice. Because the helicopter is not the same. You can stop.
You can. As long as you have the exact coordinates and you have a way to tell exactly where. Yeah.
It was
fine. So I saw that there are networks for sailors that I use
on time,
and that is a network for runners as well. There are people that run across America, and I try to help them. Very few of them come to Miami because usually they try to do the shortest route. So they start either in Savannah, Georgia, or in Jacksonville, and they go from Jacksonville west.
Direct.
Yeah. Very few want to go to Key West or come to Miami. But when they do, I try to help. I offer to go and pick them up on the road and bring them back the next day or whatever. I really like to help. And when I travel,
people appreciate.
And when I travel by car, I'm always looking out for runners, because if I see a runner, I like to stop and ask if they need anything. So now I like that group as well. And there are a bunch of other networks, popping up and apps and things like that. What I lament that before Couchsurfing was, let's say, the one website that you needed. With that one website, it was enough. You could find places everywhere, and it was a network big enough. And now it's divided in many different websites and apps with different policies, different systems. I started this project, Xenia Travel. In the beginning, the intention was to create a way to unify them, to connect them.
I know.
And soon I realized that it was an impossible task because they have different policies and they have to follow different rules. And also they have different purposes, sometimes. Very different conflicting interests. Like one wants to be voluntary only and run by volunteers, volunteers and with donations only.
Donation.
While there are others that are for profit, and then these ones don't want to cooperate with this. These ones don't want to do anything with those because that doesn't bring them any extra business. So at the end, you end up having all these different networks that have. Some of these networks are on Facebook.
No,
so,
Facebook is on another
and then it's impossible to connect with them. Some of them don't have a website. It's a mess. So now we are stuck with having many different networks. And there are some networks that started in the 70s, like, what's the name of that one?
Really?
That is, like that, I don't remember the name now. But there are networks that start in the 70s, 80s, that you had to sign up, write a letter, and they would interview you. You had to meet with someone, get interviewed, and then when you wanted to travel, you would tell them the cities or countries that you are going, and they would send you a book with the contact information of everybody along the way.
Yeah, but it take a long time.
It took a lot of plans, and if you change your travel plans, you are out. You are out of luck because at that time there was no internet, right?
Sure,
and
it's starting
and that is another network now that I'm getting a little more involved called Horizons Unlimited, and that's for motorcycle riders that travel internationally. Very good network too. It's very, very nice. They help each other a lot, and they do a lot of events and some educational events and things like that. I still didn't find a way to communicate with them perfectly. I'm figuring that out. Like some time ago, they sent me an invitation to an event, and it was going to cost like $200-300 to attend. Really? And it was expensive, but the event was interesting. But then it said that there were going to be these people talking about their experiences traveling internationally.
Yeah.
And I said, why am I going to pay for that? They should be inviting me to talk there with them because I have the experience they need, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't convey that correctly yet, so I want to participate in these things, but I want to also help others. And
the goal is the focus on
exactly. Not just go to listen, but there are networks there are plenty of them today, and if someone wants to travel and keep the cost low, make friends everywhere.
Nice, totally nice.
This is it's very possible now. And now, if I count all the friends that I have in Europe, and now the friends that I have in the US, I have more friends in Europe.
Yeah, sure.
Which is funny.
I have the same. I have in my place because I stay a lot of time. But if I come, I have the same of you. All over the world, I have more people, friends, and keep in touch and everything.
Yeah.
This is fun when I travel in like this because you connect more with the people and you enjoy. And very nice to practice like this. Because traveling is also experience, but it's culture for you. You became very, very smart. You know how to manage a problem. Not only work, but you have to enjoy your life. Because for me, it's my life.
So what's next?
Next, I plan to go maybe next in Congo. I want to go by bicycle because I have been before, but only stayed a few places because this place before was in war and now it's quiet and need to make the visa, arrange everything, and maybe next month when I come back and rest some time at home, come back.
So you want to go through Congo by bicycle?
Yeah. I want to make a trip around rent a bike or buy a bike here and do or Congo, Burundi. I need to check one of these because I want to make in the small country in Africa. Congo is big, but I want also to repeat in the small in the more small country.
Burundi,
Ghana is one of my next project now.
Much respect, man.
Yeah.
You have more balls than I do to
No,
do
no,
that.
no.
It's-
Only is now. The first time I never do with bicycle, but now I know how is the system.
Now you
how
know
is
the place, yeah.
I know the place. I have only some contact there.
Yeah.
I manage from country. Now only the bullshit is a visa because a lot of problem all the time. Go to embassy or.
How many passports you went through?
I finished 8 passport
8?
at home. Yeah. I have
Do they
all.
give you, over there, do they give you the book of more pages or it's still the tiny books?
No, I finished all the page.
No, yeah, but how many pages it has?
My passport is normal 30 page, I think.
30 pages?
30,
Yeah, that's the normal.
Normal, more or less.
Yeah. Yeah, when I order my passport books, I get them with 50. Now they do with 60.
Yeah, you can
30
put
or with
extra,
60
no? You can
pages.
pay-
Yeah.
No,
They don't
more.
charge you extra, but they want to give that only if you use it a lot. You know,
okay.
so but I explain, hey, I travel a lot, and I'm
saw-
running out of pages very
I
quick.
saw your passport. You have lucky because every 1 year and 1 year and a half, I need to ask for another.
Yeah.
And now I should renew because I have another passport new.
Did you have to have 2 passports, or you have only one at a time?
No, only
Some
one is
countries
okay.
give you 2.
No, with one is okay.
Yeah.
I have only national ID. You can travel around Europe with the national ID, and you can cross a lot of countries with. So with
Yeah, 'cause
one
sometimes
passport is
people
okay.
avoid. So there are countries that if you have a stamp from this country, then you cannot get into the other one.
Yeah,
so
sure.
they have separate passports, and that's why US gives you 2 passports
Yeah, no.
because so you can go to Israel and Iran on the same year. So
Now is some
Yeah.
program where if you have a stamp in
or you can go to
in the
Russia
black-
and Ukraine in the same year.
in the blacklist, you can enter in a lot of places. So even here in America, I know we have in the blacklist countries, so you need to change your passport, or you can wait 10 years for finish the block.
until the war is over.
The war is over. This was nice. Yeah.
Eduard, it's a privilege to talk to you. Thank you so much.
And I am very simple,
No, you are, and you are a great guest, and and I hope you visit me again next time you go.
Yeah, totally.
Anywhere
Definitely,
that it's possible to stop here. You are very welcome.
Yeah. I plan to come here because here Miami is a good point for.
It's a good hub to go
Hub
to
to go.
South and Central America. Yeah.
South Caribbean and even in America. It's
Yeah.
a very, from my place, it's very direct flight, so it's easy to come back again. I visit a lot of time in Miami. I love a good place, and I'm always happy to meet people like you.
All right, brother. Mikaze Sukase.